Hi, I'm Jamie Donaldson and I would like to welcome you to my speed series for putting. And this is stage 1 of learning to control your speed. And what I'm going to do today is take you through a 10, 20 and 30 foot putt. And the idea of this routine or drill is to understand what you're actually doing to control how far you hit your putts. What we're not trying to do is just hit to a different distance. We're trying to change 2 key factors. And the 2 key factors we're trying to work with or to manage would be the length you swing the putter back, but more importantly now the time it comes back to impact. So this is very much a 2-stage idea of understanding distance control. The first thing is hit some putts to understand what you do for, say, a 10-foot putt, and then I'm going to go into changing the stroke length and the tempos to really start to be able to master that skill and be able to then take it out onto the golf course. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you how I measure how long I'm swinging the club for a 10-foot putt. I've put discs out at 10, 20 and 30. You can use T-pegs or you can use coins. Anything that just gives you a reference to those different distances will be good. And a very important part of this drill is that everything is played from the same place. So you'll notice I have a T-peg here in the green. I'm going to make sure all my putts are hit starting level with this. So as always, I'm going to start with a couple of rehearsals where I like to get a feel for my stroke length and my timing. This is where you guys are going to move into. And I already pretty much know where I want to be. And I'm going to hit my putt. So we're expecting this to finish near the disc or a foot past. Okay, so that was a good speed. And I'm now going to place my T-peg down roughly where I felt my 10-foot backswing was. So if we look at this, if I put my foot down here, it's just under 12 inches, which is about perfect for me. And I finished about 14 inches past the pin, which would also be a good speed. Right, so we've now got our metric for our 10-foot putt. And what we're going to do is we're going to explore how much longer to swing to get to 20 and then to 30. And there's a very simple maths for this. What we're going to do is we're actually going to double the length of the backswing, and that will give us our 30-foot putt. And then we're going to split the difference or put another T-peg in between those 2 T-pegs, and that will give us our 20-foot. Oh, I can just use my putter to measure. Look at that, my putter grips, just another inch would be great. And then I'm going to pop my T-peg down there. That's my 30-foot stroke length. And just put another T-peg in the middle, halfway between those 2. So now we have our 10, 20 and 30 feet stroke lengths. And what I want you to do is just to swing it back so the face is level with your 10-foot backswing. And we're just going to see what that tempo feels like. And now I'm going to encourage you just to swing it back to the second T-peg. And then we're going to swing it back to the third T-peg. Okay, so I'm lengthening my backswing every time. And when you run through this drill, I want you to keep cycling through a 10, a 20 and a 30-foot putt. What we don't want to be doing is repeating the same putt again and again and again. Once you've got one speed distance correct, you don't want to keep repeating it. That's not helping you get better at speed control. You're just repeating an action. And when you're playing golf, everything's a variable. The distances are different, you're uphill, downhill. You'll play quicker greens, slower greens, so we need to be much more versatile with our speed. So being able to change our stroke length and our forward time is a real key piece to distance control. So I'm going to cycle through these now. I've already got my 10-footer there, which I'm happy with. So I'm going to remember to keep my ball level with that first T-peg, because otherwise that'll alternate how long the backswing is. And I'm just going to take it back to that 20-footer. There we go, that feels good. Now I'm just managing that forward time, and then we can test it. Okay, that felt great. There we go. So we're that sort of 14 inches past, which is fantastic. That felt like a lovely forward time, and I'm not surprised that the ball's finished exactly where I wanted it. And this is where it starts to feel quite a long backswing. So don't be scared of the length of backswing you're going to have to create here. And this is what I see with most golfers where they now get into trouble, is they're not comfy swinging it much longer. so they have to accelerate really hard, and now we're starting to mix up our tempos. So when you come to this 30-foot distance, expect it to feel too long, but I want you to just go with it, trust it. You're in charge of the forward time. You're going to control that piece, and the ball will finish where it does, and the ball's really going to be our guide. The ball is going to tell us what happened. So we're looking for where the ball finishes to give us an indication of whether it was a good speed or a too long or too short a backswing. So back to the blueprint, which would be me just rehearsing that stroke length. Like I said, always feels long to me. There we go. And then I've just got to manage the forward tempo. That felt good. So I'm going to run through my routine now, and then we'll have a look at the end and see where all those balls are finished up. Okay, so there's my routine for warming up my speed. Let's go and have a look at the distances now, because I want to have a discussion about some of these putts we've hit. And if we come into this 10-foot range, we can see here that the balls have all finished nice and tight. I'd prefer this one to be slightly longer, because what you'll find is with a tour player, they're always up to a foot past at 10 feet. And you'll notice that actually comes out at 10%. So if we now take that to our 20-foot distance, we're now finishing on the borderline of 20 feet, which is fine because there's my 10% allowance. The average on tour, long and short, for putts that don't go in is 10% of the overall distance. Now that's particularly interesting because if we go to the 30-footers, I want to discuss these a little bit, because this was the first putt I hit, and it's actually finished right on the borderline of 3 feet too short, and that would be disappointing to a lot of people when they're practicing, but that's on the borderline of tour average. I'm not upset by that, and the important thing there is my subsequent 2 30-footers here, I up my tempo, manage my stroke length, and they finished perfectly. So remember, we're trying to train speed here, we're not testing speed. And that's the difference with these stages of learning your distance control. It's not a test, it's a how-to. So I'm changing my stroke length and I'm managing my tempo to run through those distances. And in a following video, we're going to talk about really taking that to an elite level. And that's going to help you go up and downhill on quick greens, slow greens, and be super versatile for whatever you find when you're playing golf. So give that a go. 10, 20, 30, changing your backswing lengths. We will show you exactly the stroke lengths and how they change on a following slide. So give it a go. Let me know how you get on with that. Put something in the comments. I'll answer any questions you have, and we want to know what's happening when you're using these stages of perfecting your speed.